Welcome to You Are Not Alone. This is a safe place to explore all things spiritual and beyond. I am spiritual medium Erica Gabriel. Hello. Welcome back to You Are Not Alone. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for hanging with me for a bit today. I am in my office and you guys would laugh. I wish I had a video right now of what's happening. So the way my office is set up is it's basically a sidewalk and then my huge glass windows that look out onto the sidewalk and a parking lot and a street. So I have curtains so people can't see into my office, but leaning against my windows, like on the sidewalk, leaning against my windows are stacks and stacks of chairs and tables because they're using this parking lot of my building for like an outdoor festival this weekend. So they're kind of like getting set up. So literally I'm like hitting record and these guys, lovely guys, come to start like grabbing the chairs and like grabbing the tables and slamming them down. And I'm like, well, here goes nothing. This is going to be interesting. So if you hear ruckus, it's literally outside my window. But I did not want to miss recording this podcast today for you guys. I really got inspired to tell you this story and wanted to focus today on grief. So I was living in an apartment. Was it an apartment? It was a bungalow off of Melrose Avenue in Los Angeles. And I was living there with my now husband. He was my boyfriend. And we were living there. And I was taking a shower. And I felt all around me the incredible warmth and positivity and just essence of my grandma. My mormor, which is grandma in Swedish, which means mom's mom in Swedish. And I just felt her. And, you know, sometimes when we're alone, like we're in the shower or we're driving, right, is like when we get really connected to spirit because we're kind of isolated. And I just burst into tears in the shower, but they were happy tears because I just like felt her essence, her beautiful, warm self, you know. And I called my sister after I got out of the shower and I started asking her all these questions about Mormor. I was like, did Mormor this? Did Mormor that? I've just been thinking about her all day. And this morning, it's like her whole energy, like I just felt her all around. And my sister was like, oh, that's great, Air. Yep. Great. I got to go. I'll talk to you later. It was like super weird. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, maybe I triggered, you know, she felt sad or whatever. And I later found out that morning when I was in the shower, my sister came by our apartment and gave my boyfriend my mormor's engagement ring for him to give to me when he was going to propose in like a week. Is that wild? The ring held so much positive energy. No, she's not haunting the ring, but just her essence, her joy about me having that ring just came over me. So she literally brought the ring into my house unbeknownst to me. And I just felt her, you know, with this beautiful warmth and joy. And it's just such a great memory. We always talk about it. And like my mom is just always tells me like, that is the most special story. Like that ring means so much. And it's a band. It's not like a huge rock or anything like that. It's just a simple, beautiful band. But it's pretty much the most special ring I could ever have because of how much love and power that ring holds. So that joy is it could have been, you know, really sad when I thought of her, but instead it was just this joyful thing. And so that's that story. And then this weekend I was driving on a road trip. And as I was driving, as I said, I know you guys feel that when you're alone or you're driving or you're in the shower, you can kind of connect in a different way. It's because we're isolated. So like I have a lot of people that call me to get their reading from the car. I read for a lot of people in their cars because that's where we are totally alone and we're not going to be interrupted. We're just like sealed in kind of. So I get a lot of inspiration from spirit when I drive. And so in a similar vein, I was in my car and I started thinking about my best friend who crossed over. I've told you guys all about her. And I felt the extreme agony and sadness and just dark pain of grief. That just inescapable darkness just wrapped me in its grief wings. And I was just debilitated with sadness and tears. And the essence just overtook me. And from there, from that dark space, I started going through the things that I know to be true. And I thought of it like grief being in a room full of doors and no key to open the doors. But that certain things that I've learned from Spirit and being with Spirit every day for all these years become keys to unlock those doors to find a way through. So there's never a way out of grief. Grief is real and it must be felt. So we don't stifle, our feelings. You must go through grief. But there are ways to open up and unlock spaces for yourself that don't feel as painful. And so as I felt that unbelievable sense of grief and sadness, I started unlocking the doors and was able to help my spirit and my consciousness and myself through those doors to release some of the pain that I was feeling. And it's interesting because the feeling of my grandma, it was so positive. The feeling I was feeling, the grief-riddenness about Christine that I was feeling, but it was still that essence of remembering them. And there is a way to take that dark grief feeling, unlock some doors, and head into the feeling of that love and positivity and warmth. There is a journey and a way through from dark grief to remembering and tapping into the powerful love and good feelings that you have surrounding that person. Does that make sense? There's a journey. You don't have to stay in the dark. Again, doesn't mean you're not going to feel grief. It doesn't mean you're not going to feel sadness. There's no bypassing. That's not what this is about. This is about the idea that you are your own powerhouse healer for yourself. And there are ways to take yourself through the doors and let yourself out so that you can feel some relief and release when you are in darkness or so much pain. So then at the same time that I was thinking about all this, there's like a button on your iPhone. I'm going to tell you guys this and you're going to be like, yeah, that's not high technical. That's not like high technology air. It's pretty well known. Anyway, there is like when you go to your Apple Music or whatever, it was like scroll or search and it said like Erica's mix. And I'm like, Erica's mix? I didn't make a mix. This is one that the computer put together for me. This is exciting. So I like clicked on it and I must say there was some good shit on there. I'm like, and also very eclectic. It's like Pink Floyd and then like Nas and then like Ryan Adams and then like Bob Marley. It was very eclectic, but I liked it. It's like music that I like. So anyway, one of the songs that popped up while I was thinking this was a Trevor Hall song. I don't know the title of the song, but the album is called The Fruitful Darkness. I was like, how apropos. I was like, touche. And what it means is that there is fruit, there is treasure, there is bounty in darkness. And that if you're in darkness, you can come out with something. And going into either dark in parentheses, right? Emotions or even our shadow selves or even hitting bottom in our lives in some ways. There is so much treasure there if you can move through it. You know that saying, if you're going through hell, don't buy a summer home there. Keep going. And I feel so deeply that some of the things that we go through are actually to help us so that we can get fruit out of the darkness and we understand ourselves better and life better and experience better and our consciousness better and our soul's journey better. And I think that's why we're seeing so many people, addicted to drugs, addicted to gambling, addicted to shopping, dying by suicide, all kinds of things. Because when we go into that darkness, we don't believe that there's any way out. And we think this is it. And it's not true. There's ways through, right? The only way out is in. The only way out is through. You must go through it. And if you can stay with it, if you can not give up on yourself, if you can find that spark in you that believes that you're worthy, you can ride out on that spark, and out you come with all of these knowledge, lessons, all of this fruit. It's a fruitful darkness. The darkness can bear so many fruits. So that's what I was thinking about. And then I was thinking about the keys that I tapped into in that moment to bring myself a sense of understanding so that I wasn't in such deep pain in that moment. Obviously, I talked to Christine a great deal. So she helps me as well. She's like, remember this part, Erica. Remember this, Erica. She's very patient with me because I remember all the stuff and then I fall apart, like, no. So, and then she's like, remember this, remember that, remember things that help you. So I wanted to share those with you. There's obviously a lot. So I'm going to tell you, what I can. And the ones that came, I actually took notes before this episode, which you guys know I don't often. But I took some notes, and, the ones that came up are the ones that Spirit really felt that was utmost importance for me to tell you guys about. So especially to those that are grieving right now. Let's look at my notes. So something I wrote, oh, that was good. Down at the bottom, it says transmute it to good, right? So you can transmute the intense feelings you're having into good and to understanding, which is that fruitful darkness. Okay, so the first one, and you guys might hear them slamming chairs. There they go. God bless them for working so hard. They're doing a lot of hard work out there, but if you hear that, that's what's going on again. So the first one that came up, this is can be very true for your personal friends, family, acquaintances that cross over. And also I have used this when I see terrible things happening in the world, which just feels so bad. Like I'll see, children at the border and they have nowhere to go, just horrible things going on. We don't need to talk about them here, but, and the first one that my guide said is that, we get so sad when we see terrible things, or we get so sad when someone crosses over, which is justified, by the way, justified. This is not bypassing those feelings. But something my guides had me write down is you don't know people's purposes or paths that they have here. You don't know their path. Perhaps their path was a short path. Perhaps, they needed to experience one or two things here in this life and then left. You see some kids just coming, they haven't ever felt true devotion and love, and they come and their parents give them that, and then they leave, It's like you don't know people's purposes or their paths. Some people come for very specific reasons. Maybe they come in, just to be a sibling, and then they make sure their sibling's okay, and then they leave. Maybe they come in, for different things, different reasons. I've seen moms come in just to have a baby and then they leave, but that was their pact to bring that baby to this timeline. Also, many people choose their certain parts of their path, and have things in their path that they so deeply want to learn. And we can't take that away from them. We don't know their path. We don't know their purpose. You don't know someone else's reason for being here. That too goes for like when, like you'll see someone and like they're just like the happiest person on the planet. They have the best life. They're like super hot and like super rich and like happy and deep and godly and all the things. And you're like, for fuck's sake, man, what did you do in a past life? And it's like, exactly, we don't know. They may have suffered and this is a different kind of life for them. You just don't know other people's paths. So when you lose someone, it's like you don't know their exact path or their reason. So know that they have their own experience and you can't take that away from them. The other thing too that came up right at the door was your loved one is okay. And that's when I go in and I kind of check in on Christine, and she's like happy as can be. She's very studious. I mean, she's studying a lot. That's just her nature. She's extremely highly intelligent person, like a bajillion times smarter than me. One day I should read you guys. She wrote her admissions to Cornell. She went to Cornell. And she wrote her essay about me, and she got into Cornell talking about how extremely different we are. It's a great essay. I'll read it to you guys. I wish I had it with me right now, but her mom gave it to me after she crossed over. So your loved one is okay. I have been reading for over 15 years, as you guys know. I mean, how many dead people do you guys think I've talked to in 15 years? How many guides do you think I've talked to in 15 years? I mean, think of the amount of people I have spoken to. And they are crossed over. They're not stuck haunting your house. Now, do I see some people are really upset in spirit? Absolutely, yes. They're reviewing their life. They're looking at their life's path. They're looking at the lessons. Sometimes they're having trouble letting go of their earthly life. And they, when they come to talk to us, they remember everything. They get really upset. It doesn't mean you go and you're just like an angel and nothing happens. It's like you're in review, but they made it over and they're okay. Only people I saw that didn't go over, I've seen 2 car accidents and the person just died so fast. And I guess their angel wasn't there before they died. It was like a fast moment. And I saw one girl, she was like 11 and she got hit by a car. And I saw her get up and walk home because she was supposed to be looking after her younger sibling. So she's like, oh shit, I gotta get it home. And then realized everything and the angels came for her. But I saw that another time. Someone's brother got in a car accident. He died so fast. He got out and then just started walking home. And then realized he saw his grandpa in the road who had died and was like, Grandpa, wait, what? And then realized it and left. But the reason why I saw that was because, one, he was telling me that. And also I asked the girl that I was reading for, did you find his keys and wallet? He's telling me his keys and wallet down the street. And she was like, yes, how the fuck did you know that? And it's like, well, he was like walking really fast. And somehow everything happened so fast and his wallet and keys were down the road going towards their house. So I have seen people take a minute, but 99.9% of the time your loved one is crossed over. It does not mean they always want to talk to us. But they have made it over. They're okay. We're not okay. We're sad. We're in grief. We're in pain here, but they are okay. Even if they're processing, they're reviewing their life, they are okay. So don't be sad for them. They're okay. The other thing that came up, and this is going to sound so ridiculous, but think about this. Everyone dies. Everyone. Not one person is not going to go through the death experience. Every single person, and people go at different times. Time is borrowed, and then we give it back. We give our body temple back. We come in as a soul. We go into these bodies. We experience this earth plane. and then our spirit moves on. Our spirit moves on. It cannot stay here forever. It must move on. The next one that my guide said is that death is not painful. Sickness is painful, and at times life here is painful, but the actual death experience is beautiful and graceful. Again, 99.999% of the time. Beautiful. Freeing, especially people that have been sick. They're like, oh, and I always see them. They're usually showing me, look how good I look, like look at how I look. A lot of women who've died of cancer and lost their hair are like showing me, they'll get out a brush and go, tell her I have my beautiful hair. It's like they look good. They feel good. Death is not painful. And many people that cross over, not all, but many people are actually really, really ready. Their soul is ready to go back. They're ready. Everyone has their own journey and path. Something kind of related also to the first thing I said, you don't know people's paths and purposes, is this idea of soul contracts. Sometimes, again, they come here for a certain reason and then they fulfill that contract and then they gracefully go. So we don't know what contracts they're fulfilling as well. Now, does everyone have a million lessons and a million soul contracts and a million? Of course not. We have all different things. That's the thing. You don't know everyone's path. You don't know their purpose. So the other thing that's very helpful if you're going through this, and a great key to open one of the doors. So everything we said is a key, right? You don't know their path. Your loved one's okay. Everyone must cross over. Many are ready to go. Death is not painful. Many came for soul contracts that they fulfilled. And the other key that's really, really powerful that I really want you to use, which will bring you a tremendous amount of relief, is to sit down and take some deep breaths and think of the person that you lost, and what comes will be that wave of grief. Just hold space for yourself. Be nice to yourself. It's normal. And close your eyes. You picture them. You go through that wave. And then as that wave cools down a little bit, I want you to picture them, their face, maybe the perfume they wore, any details about them. I want you to close your eyes and think of them. And I want you to remember a great memory you had together. Could be anything. It could be, swinging on swings together. It could be having a great conversation. It could be coffee. It could be, whatever. Just think of a memory or a moment and let that memory, with your eyes closed, fill you up a little bit. Like, oh, that was so great. I remember her there. I remember her face. I remember us laughing. And just take a minute to let that good feeling fill you up. And then from there, say, and I feel them as such now. And I want you to look at them, what they look like now, and see their face smiling at you. Just connect with them through a happy memory. It's the best way to do it. People always ask me, what signs do they send? What should I do to get them to send me signs? And yes, of course, loved ones do send signs. I'm not saying they don't. But the best way to truly connect with your loved one is go inside your heart. Feel them now. So many times when we think of our loved ones who've passed, we focus on their death and sadness. Can you transmute that into a positive memory? Because then you create an opening in the door. You unlock the door and you now are activating your current connection with your loved one in spirit. Make it current. Where are they now? Can I feel them now? Can I remember a positive memory now? Because I know they're okay. I know they were on their own path. I know they fulfilled their time here. Can I connect with them now? Because their essence is still very much with you. And start to work with them now. And I do that all the time with Christine. I, of course, think about our memories and all of the times we had. And then I use those to elevate me to really think about her now. And she's doing great. And so when I get in the depths, I unlock that door of like, but she's okay. She's okay. And she's okay now. So the last thing that my guides had me write down, which is something I just want you guys to have, this comes up a lot in readings, is that people fall apart after a particular person dies in their life. Maybe it's a parent or a brother, a best friend, a boyfriend, husband. And I'm not going to say child, by the way. I consciously didn't say child, losing a child, because that's a totally different human experience. And I would have to do an entire podcast on that. People who've lost a child are a completely different experience of human that has to go through that. And that I can't just touch on briefly. So let's say everyone else but those. Now, it doesn't mean they can't find a way through or anything. I'm not saying they're doomed. Of course not. But that particular topic needs to be handled with extreme and gentle care and deeper exploration. So you lose someone that's key in your life falls apart. So I see people like, well, after dad died, I quit my job. I haven't found another job. Or after mom died, I'm just shut in my house. Or after my brother died, I started drinking and I just stayed in this negative space, or right. Which is easy to do. It's really hard when someone crosses over. And it's very important for me to continue to stress. These things are not saying, oh, don't worry, don't be sad. Of course not. These things are saying, here are some tools to create opening doors and pathways in your mind and in your spirit so that you can move through them a little bit and try and transmute it to connect with them now and try and transmute it for deeper understanding and get your fruit in the dark. Okay. I just wanted to say that one more time. So my guides had me write down, never ever use someone else's death as an excuse to stop your own life or stop living. You are still here. They are not. You must go on. You must continue to find your life's path, your life's purpose. You have a purpose. You have a life's path. You have a reason for being here. And you don't let yours go because someone else's time was done. If you want to honor them, get up. Find out why you're here, what you're doing here, and live your life. Do not use their death as an excuse. So my guides want me to say that. I hope this podcast served you. I am going to have a few weeks off of podcasting, although I'll miss it very much. Actually, I'm not going to have a few weeks off. I'm going to be podcasting the shit out of podcasting. But there's going to be a break in episodes that I release for a little bit. So I hope you guys will stick with me. I hope you'll go back and listen to other episodes. Follow me at Spiritual Medium Erica on Instagram, you guys, because I'm doing lives on there, all kinds of stuff. As always, if you want a reading with me, go to ericagabriel.com, fill out the Google form at readings, or you can just email info@ericagabriel.com. I also have a new offering on my website. It's a 2-hour workshop intensive on how to meet your own guide. Get on there, take it. People are having an amazing experiences taking that workshop. So I hope you'll check it out, ericagabriel.com. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. God bless you. Stay tuned. Much, much more to come. I'll be thinking of you. Take care, friends. Have a beautiful day.